This video is sponsored by Movo. Today we're taking a look at their brand new USB audio interface, the Movo Phantom. As you can see, it comes packaged very well. Here's a little bit of promotional material. A couple other cool things in the box as well. You get these headphone jack adapters. These are always great to have laying around any studio. A couple of USB-C cables as well, two very long USB-C cables, and a USB-C to USB-C cable. Great to have these as well. And then the unit itself. This is the Movo Phantom. Straight out of the box, feels super high quality. It's a big metal box with a bunch of buttons and switches on it, which we'll all cover in this video together. This is the Movo Phantom. So once again, a big shout out to Movo for sending the Movo Phantom out for us to check out together. There is an affiliate link down there in the description if you want to go and pick one of these up for yourself, or you can use it to pick up any of their other fine products on their website, movophoto.com. Again, that link is down there in the description. I greatly appreciate it. Interfaces are pivotal pieces of gear if you are in any kind of audio production, especially if you do things like record music and you use a DAW like Cubase or Pro Tools. Interfaces offer things like phantom power, where some microphones need phantom power to even turn on and use, which given the name Movo Phantom, this thing does have phantom power included. So if you want to use one of those big fancy microphones that you see in studios all around the world, definitely consider getting yourself a Movo Phantom. Now, is that to say other interfaces don't have phantom power built in? Obviously, that is an absurd claim to say. The interface that I use now has phantom power, but you get my point. Okay, so every other interface has phantom power built in. Why would I go with the Movo Phantom? Well, stick around because there's a lot of really cool things about this one that I really like. First off, the build quality. I mean, it just feels absolutely fantastic out of the box. Solid metal construction. All the buttons and everything are like soft press buttons. It's just so super satisfying. One big advantage to this that I saw straight out of the box is the fact that it is powered via USB-C, which would explain why you get this myriad of USB-C cables included in the box. That saves you from having to go find one of these weird little USB cables that most interfaces run off of. Obviously the times change, adapters change, all that kind of stuff. I mean, the iPhones use USB-C now. I never thought I would see that. But for now, as of recording in 2024, USB-C cables are everywhere. On the back here, you also have these backlight buttons, which we'll touch on that in just a little bit. One really cool thing about it is you get two sets of monitoring ports here. So you can do monitor A, monitor B, and plug into two separate, studio monitors and switch between them. That's really cool. You do all of that on the front of the interface. So you have a direct switch here, you have a direct / headphone volume control here, and then you can switch between your monitors by pressing A or B. And then you have the volume switch here for your monitoring. Another cool feature about this that I saw that I'm kind of curious about is this little port right here. This is a USB-C port on the front, and then it's got a phone volume knob up here. So I'm thinking that you can record audio from your phone into this thing. We're going to test that out too. And then obviously the big fun part, it is a 2-channel interface. So you have channel A, channel B, individual gain knobs for each, the aforementioned phantom power, which is this 48-volt button there, and then you can switch between line and instrument depending on what you're plugging into the interface. So there's a very quick overview of the Movo Phantom. Let's go ahead and plug this thing in, put it through its paces. Okay, so now we have the Movo interface plugged in. It is powered on. You saw the lights come on. The one thing I wanted to touch on, because we mentioned it, is the backlight button in the back. So you see the what looks like binding around here. That's actually a built-in light. So if you go to the back and you press the center button, it will turn it on. How cool is that? It gets even cooler because you can change the color of it, and you can even change the hue or the brightness of it. That is super cool. Adds a very unique look to any studio. Of course, I'm gonna go with the pink for mine. All right, so very quickly, I ran into a problem. I'm filming this part a few days later because I just found a solution for it, and it shouldn't have taken me this long to do it, but I did. Anyway, so I use Cubase. That's my DAW of choice. The Movo Phantom claims that it is compatible with both Cubase and the ASIO driver, which in my case, it is not. Your case may be different. It could be your version of Cubase. I run Cubase Elements as of recording this video, but I had to go and download Reaper to get this to work because I had to use a different audio driver. In this case, I use and what I would recommend you using for this is the WAS API driver. I believe that's a Windows default driver that comes with pretty much every PC or every Windows machine. So you should be good to go, but I don't think that my specific version of Cubase supports that or has it included. I don't know the technicalities behind it and all that kind of stuff. But long story short, after emailing a lot of different supports back and forth, if you have that issue, I highly recommend downloading a different DAW. In fact, I'll put on the screen right now the settings that you would use for Reaper in this case, just in case you need to go that route. And realistically, it's good for you to learn more DAWs anyway. If you already use Reaper too, hey, you're already at the advantage. But, you know, I've always kind of been interested in Reaper, so I'm going to be learning how to use Reaper. It's always good for, you know, engineers, amateur or professional, to know how to use multiple DAWs anyway. It helps with your clientele, right? So anyway, let's go ahead and get back to the video about the Phantom and talk about it usability wise now that we actually can use it. All right, so we got everything going here. I have the Movo Phantom hooked up. It is ready to go. It's connected. This is the guitar I'm using, my Epiphone Youngblood SG Jr. Got a video on that if you want to go check that out. Not that that really matters in this case. We're just putting the Movo Phantom through its paces here. I have Reaper loaded up, as you can see here. I would go and open my preferences and show you those settings, but the thing is because I'm running OBS Studio to record my screen for you guys. And if I open those preferences, it's going to mess up my audio, and then I'll have to close out OBS, and it's all that kind of stuff. But just take my word for it. As long as I don't open preferences, I think we're good to go. So I'm just going to show you guys. Everything kind of works. It's integrated. We are just going line in first. I'm not using any XLR or anything like that, just to show you guys that. We'll show you the Phantom power and all that stuff here in just a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead and just go load up Neural Amp Modeler. If you don't know what Neural Amp Modeler is, by the way, highly recommend checking that out. It's a very, very cool thing to look at there. So we're going to load up just amp, and then we'll load up some impulse responses here. As you can see, I got a bunch of impulse responses. I'm quite a fan of the, where is it at? The Freight Box recording, and then the Octopack. So we'll just pick an SM57 for now, keep it nice and simple. So one thing I've noticed too is there's this like audio pulsing thing that goes on here. So like if my guitar's up, you might see it. I don't know. I've had that happening. It's almost like a heartbeat. And I thought it was picking up my heartbeat for some reason, but it's not. But just strange. There it went. You saw it there. But anyway, so this is, you know, just playing some stuff on the guitar just to see what it sounds like here. So you can see, I mean, sounds fine. That's another big thing is a lot of people say this interface sounds better than this one, or this DAW sounds better. Complete fallacies. Don't listen to that. It's a matter of, is there latency and does it work, is what that is. So as you can see, again, with the with what we have here, especially up in the corner, you can look, here's all of our settings. So 44.1 kilohertz, 24 bits, all this other fine stuff, 2 channels, all that kind of stuff. There's our sample blocks, sample rate, whatever, 512. And then you can see we're at 11 milliseconds of latency. So practically non-existent. That's very impressive. So if I, you know, chug away, you can see like there's 0 latency. Latency is more about the feel. It's not really hearing it. Now, if it's really bad, you can hear it, but it's the feel. From when you strike a note on the guitar or you speak into a microphone, and versus when you can actually hear it in your headphones or your speakers. But like I said, with this setup, using that driver that I talked about earlier, the latency is like practically non-existent. So it's very nice. And again, we're direct in using the line here. We don't need Phantom power because we're using the guitar, and we don't have the gain set very high. And you heard, I mean, you can see on there that it is, we're at what, negative 5.6 dB right now. Which, if you're recording guitar, obviously you want to try to stay like -6 to -12, somewhere in that range. So you have that headroom to mix and master and all that kind of stuff later. So cool, we have our direct in, our line. Let's go ahead and swap it around to use an XLR cable, switch to what does it say, instrument. Wanted to make sure I was getting that right. And we'll run maybe through the direct box and do some other stuff like that. We'll see what that sounds like. All right, so let's play around with some XLR connections. So we're gonna go ahead with our guitar tones first, get that out of the way. Same guitar as before, going into my Arena 2000, which is over there on the floor. Then that's coming out XLR'd into the Movo Phantom. We're doing channel 2 this time. They're the exact same thing. There's no difference there. We don't need the phantom power. That is coming up, but we'll get to that. Y'all stick with me here. So we got Reaper going here, as you can see. And I've got my speakers turned up. Just you're going to be hearing it through the camera just so you can hear that it does work. And then we'll test the latency. So let's go ahead and check this out. I know you're not here for my crappy guitar playing, but you got it. So there we go. I mean, XLR stuff, if you go back to here, you can see that the latency looks like it stayed the same at 11 milliseconds. So again, going here, doing our chug test. No difference whatsoever. Feels exactly the same. Feels almost like there's no latency, which is exactly what you want. So XLR outing from something into, or XLR out, yeah, you know what I mean. Going XLR out into the Movo works for guitar, but what about if you need phantom power and you need a microphone, a condenser mic that requires phantom power, and you want to do that? Can it handle that? Well, it's called the Movo Phantom, so I sure hope it can. Let's check it out. So no need for a screen recording here. I think this will be pretty self-explanatory as to whether it works or not. We're going to take a look at the phantom power built into the Movo Phantom. Now, each channel has its own individual phantom power. So channel A, channel B, they each have their own phantom power switches there. What is phantom power, you may ask? Well, without getting too technical, it's what condenser mics need in order to work, right? So this is a Xingyu BM800. This is a cheap little Amazon mic that I got way back when I started this channel. It served me well. I don't use it very much anymore, but it is a pretty decent mic. And then this is an XLR cable, so we're gonna plug them in, test it out. So like I said, the sound's gonna be coming straight through the camera audio here or through my microphone here that I got. And then straight out the speakers, all that kind of stuff, just so you can see that it works. Quick note about phantom power and condenser mics. Do you wanna save your condenser mic? Especially if you've paid thousands of dollars for it? Well, one little tip that I can give you, make sure your phantom power is off before you plug it in and before you unplug it. Do not plug in your microphones, your condenser microphones, with phantom power on. It will ruin your microphones. So, phantom power is over here at this 48 volt switch, 48V is what that says. It's not on yet. We're gonna plug in our condenser mic, so it is now plugged in. Then we are going to engage it, and then you should hear as I start to talk into it. You see nothing's going on right now. Once I engage this button, now you can hear me. You can hear me kind of, it's probably kind of echoey, but you can hear me. It's probably really gainy because I've not set the gain or anything. I'm just demonstrating that it does work. So as you can see, you do need the phantom power to run these mics, and it works fine. We're only doing it on one channel. Assume that it works both ways or the same way on whatever, and this sounds like crap, so we're gonna go ahead and turn it off before we unplug it. So again, you're gonna turn that off and it's probably gonna fade out. You can probably hear it. There it goes, faded out, so that means that it's off. I would wait until it does that just to be sure, and then you can safely unplug your condenser mic. So Movo Phantom living up to its namesake by providing great phantom power. Now, the last thing I want to show you is how you can use your phone and a USB-C to USB-C cable, which is provided with the Movo Phantom, to record direct from your phone or tablet. Now, you may have noticed something about this part of the video, and that is that the audio doesn't sound that great. Well, that's because I'm using the camera audio because I needed the USB-C cable that goes to, what is this microphone that I'm using here? It's the Movo X1 Mini. Now, I did buy this mic myself. This was not provided to me from Movo. I did buy that myself. And I do have a video coming out on that microphone if you want to stick around and check that out. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. And you're probably saying, well, why don't you just use the USB-C cable that came with it? Well, how else am I going to promote that video and my channel and stuff? You gotta think, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and just pull up something on my phone to record in here. I don't know, let's just go to YouTube, do something, some random person here. Yeah, this guy right here. we'll go ahead and just get something from one of his videos, right? Just some random nobody on YouTube. So what you want to do is you want to plug in your phone, okay? And then you want to come over here where this USB-C is and just plug it in there. You can keep it at like halfway for now, so we'll just keep it halfway up down the middle. And then we'll just pick, oh, there you go. There's the video that came out recently here. Let's go ahead and just do that.
Get your pet game day ready this football season at Chewy.
There's a free ad for you. Let's take a look at the Donner Arena 2000. This is an amp modeler / multi-effects processor. It's got a lot going on. Okay, so you see, you can hear it sounds kind of like doubled, right? I did a test myself because I was like, that's not very cool. But when you record it and you play it back, it doesn't sound like that. So just as an example here, I'm going to go ahead and just record this random nobody on YouTube real quick. So I'm hitting record. It is recording now on Reaper. This is going to be a pretty detailed video, but I also have some contest details for a contest that Donner's running as we speak, so stick around for that. A contest, huh? Maybe this guy's got something to offer after all. Go check out that video on, who is that, Electric Flamingo? Either way. All right, so we're going to stop recording on Reaper, and if you hear me play it back, I'm just going to start the track over, hit play here. You can hear that it will play back. This is going to be a pretty detailed video, but I also have some contest details for a contest that Donner's running as we speak. So you can hear that it doesn't do that doubled audio thing that it did when you were just listening to it. So, cool. That's very, very useful. Very useful. I think really any USB-C device that you can plug into this that projects any kind of sound, I like that a lot. That is a very, very useful thing to have on an interface. All right, so final thoughts on the Movo Phantom. So, first and foremost, thank you very much, Movo, for sending this unit out for me to check out. And this X1 Mini that I'm now using again is awesome, guys. They didn't send that out. They sent this out. This video is sponsoring that. Not this, but I do have a video coming out. That's not a sponsored video on the X1 Mini. Make sure you're subscribed to check that out. So, the Movo Phantom, I'm very impressed with. All around, I mean, it's a solidly built unit. It looks great. I mean, come on. The ring of light there, whenever you have any kind of input going into your channels around the gain knob, it does the little lights as it goes. It didn't just light up. It literally goes every time. Really nice. You know, maybe that's just me, I don't know. But you have the two monitoring options, so you can plug into the two separate sets of monitors if you'd like. That's really cool. I only have one set of monitors, so I couldn't really test that. But you know, you have your direct monitoring, which I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Didn't really need to test that either. And then to me, I think the coolest part of this is the ability to plug your phone into the interface directly and record audio from that. So if you have, you know, a video on your phone that you want to get the audio off of, just separate you don't have to go and download a video and separate the audio and convert it and do all that. Just record it straight into your interface. There are a lot of times where I might have something that I need to sample for a piece of music that I'll have to go and do all that, chop it up, blah, blah, blah. Here, I can just record that section, boom, it's done. That is amazing. I love that. There are no weird pops, no weird crackles, no weird noises going on. It's just a solid unit. The fact, again, that it is USB-C is really cool. I don't think I mentioned this, but just in case, I think this is the one downside to it being USB-C. It comes with two really long USB-C cables, and both of those have to be plugged in. One is for power, one is for, I guess, data transfer. So if you look up here, it's got a little, it's right above the monitor select buttons. I had to see which one it was, I had a cable in the way. If that is not lit up green, where it looks like the little USB-C logo, it's not gonna work. It can be powered on, but you will not be able to record if you don't do that. So I think that's the one downside, is that you have to have two cables plugged in as opposed to one on a traditional interface. But again, everything else kind of negates that. This is a really cool unit. If you're looking for an affordable interface, highly recommend it. Check out MovoPhoto.com, Movo's website. Links are down there in the description. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, and thank you so much, Movo, again, for sending this out for me to check out and for just making great products and having great people working for your company. I greatly appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Check out MovoPhoto.com. Links down there in the description. I'll catch you guys in the next video.